Friends, we work hard every week to create a heart-wrenching animated horror story for you. So, if you are enjoying our Kuni Monday channel stories, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon for our latest video notification. In every family, there are odd customs unique to each individual. In my household, my grandfather exhibited this trait. He would vanish without a trace, sometimes not re-emerging for days, with scars marking his limbs. Out of nowhere, evidence of wounds would materialize. If questioned, he provided no explanation for these injuries. Among the peculiarities, his chamber stood out, a place off limits to all. He took personal responsibility for its upkeep, a forbidden zone since my early childhood escapades. I recall detecting unusual noises emanating from within that chamber. Stooping down, peering beneath the door, I spotted a silhouette. It was then I observed a crimson flow escaping the room, drenching my feet. In my youthful innocence, terror overtook me, and I collapsed into unconsciousness. Upon awakening, I faced my mother's reprimand for indulging in reckless play under the blazing sun. According to them, I was unconscious because of that. When I tried to tell him the truth, his grandfather lied to me. Since then, my father and I have not had such a conversation. The room was locked up all day, and no one was allowed to wander around it. Years subsequently, grandfather settled elsewhere, leaving us the legacy of an enigmatic room.
They departed from their ancient home and relocated to the new residence in the metropolis. Everything proceeded smoothly. My father's employment in the metropolis was thriving, and I commenced my higher education journey. For a single day, I was lounging at home, exploring the world through my smartphone. In those moments, I chanced upon witness to my comrade Rishab brandishing a fresh iPhone. Without hesitation, I contacted him to interrogate the origins of his latest acquisition. Rishab revealed to me his covert means of earning. He garners profit through the exchange of perspectives on the Probo application. In my quest for understanding, he enlightened me. Probo stands as the pioneering platform in India for the commerce of opinions. Furthermore, with a penchant for categories like cricket, YouTube, and news, he capitalizes by disseminating his viewpoints therein. Rely on your acumen to contribute your judgments and opinions. And it's very easy to give an opinion. All you have to do is give your opinion in yes or no. Rishab said that the app is trusted and has more than 200,000 users. He gave an opinion in the same IPL match and won his new iPhone in the same match. I too said, can Rajasthan beat Mumbai in IPL time like simple questions? By answering such questions, I also spend lakhs of rupees. I can win on a process promo like Mahindra Thar iPhone. You can also make unlimited deposits and unlimited withdrawals through any UPI on the Probo app. I was very excited to hear Rishab, and I quickly downloaded the Provo app. Then my father called me on his mobile. Dad told me on the call that we had to go to Dadaji's old house from some work, and we left for Dadaji's house the next day. When I came back to that house about 10 years later, I saw someone still walking into that room. I could not resist the temptation. Driven by the insatiable curiosity of youth, I wielded a hammer and shattered the padlock barring the chamber. The result was a blend of jubilation tinted with apprehension.
What was it that grandfather was hiding from us? As soon as I entered, I saw many cabinets filled with all sorts of strange things. Numerous pots, locks wrapped in red cloth, porcelain dishes, and who knows what else. In the center of the room, on the wall, was a large painting. A depiction of a dwelling by the riverbank, exceedingly beautiful to simply remain within a confined space. Therefore, I removed it and situated it in the corridor outside, causing the room to stay welcoming. But that night, when I fell asleep, I woke up suddenly in the middle of a vast river. There was no time to think about how I got there, because the current was so strong that I was drowning. By some miracle, I reached the shore only to be surprised that it was the same house as in grandfather's painting. The experience made the earth vanish beneath my feet, yet my heart skipped a beat, especially when I dared to gaze further. That residence bore a striking resemblance to my former abode, where I had just been resting in the corridor not long before. The entire scenario felt like an ominous dream I was striving to escape, so I hastened towards my dwelling. Breathless, as I approached the abode, I inhaled deeply and shut my eyes, yearning for the cessation of this frightful fantasy. Subsequently, I experienced the impact of something substantial. I toppled to the floor. Upon opening my eyes, I found myself within the residence. Observing my surroundings, I perceived numerous lamps and chandeliers enveloped in decades of neglect, lay dormant for eons. On the ground level, there were no available rooms. Directly in sight was just a staircase climbing upwards, draped with dust and adorned by cobwebs, suggesting it had been years since anyone had trodden there. When did that blood reach my feet? I didn't even notice. My mind and body seemed to freeze. Childhood memories came flooding back, of the time when blood was seeping from grandfather's locked room. I found my mind blank and hastened up the staircase. Ah, the room right in front was that very room of grandfather's. Looking down from above, I saw a shadow, just like I had seen in my childhood. Eerie sounds were still coming from that room. Yet, this instance, the door of that particular chamber bore no lock. Upon entering the room, a chill swept over me. There sat an elderly gentleman, his back facing me, gazing upon a portrait. He addressed me. I had warned you to avoid this place. The voice I heard instilled fear in me, for it was the voice of my grandfather. A shriek of terror burst forth from me, and at the sound of my cry, the man rotated his head in a full circle. The figure before me was unmistakably my grandfather. His appearance was horrifying, with drooping flesh on his visage and his jawbones pronounced. Trembling took hold of me as I gazed upon him, and not long after, I succumbed to convulsions. Shortly after, I lost consciousness. By the time the fire had been extinguished, I had already returned to my home. My family was still sleeping peacefully. I gazed upon my legs, which were now adorned with numerous lesions rather than blood, and that haunting vision stayed with me. When dawn broke, I tucked the memory aside and sealed my grandfather's chamber. When I recounted the whole tale to my parents, they initially chastised me for intruding the room, but they eventually confessed that my grandfather had the ability to perceive spirits, and he expelled them from individuals utilizing his mastery of enchantments and chants. Those marks were the testament of his endeavors. That is the reason he had always kept his room of mystical arts under lock and key, forbidding access to anyone. The mere knowledge of this information sent a shiver down my spine. I fervently hoped I would never encounter an apparition again. Subsequent to the occurrence, a ceremonial cleansing took place in our abode, with my grandfather's chamber being permanently sealed. Friends, you too can win some very interesting prizes by sharing your opinions on the promo app. So don't forget to download the app. The link is in the pinned comments. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe to our channel Bloody Monday.